So I'm sort of honoured today. We're interviewing Pauline Pullman, who's probably Northern by far best surfer. So can I ask you, Pauline, your first surfboard? Can you remember what it was, or?
I certainly can. I still have it back in my possession.
You still got it?
Yes. It's minus a fin, but I got it when I was around about 10 years old.
Yeah.
And it was cut down out of an old dunger that washed up in a storm or something like that on the beach, and my dad grabbed it, and after I saved for about a year and a half, saved my pocket money, I had £5, which was enough to pay for the fiberglass.
Yeah,
to
and
have it made.
Someone did locally did it?
Mark Wheeler and Bruce Fraser did it.
Yep. Yeah, Mark's still surfing here. So roughly what age did you start surfing?
Well, I can remember jumping on boards at probably around 6 years old, 6 or 7 years old. Whenever I could get on a washed up board, I'd just give it a go.
And your best surfboard, have you had a surfboard that's been fantastic, or is the current one, have you had one like me and you wished you'd never sold it?
I've had some very good boards over the years. I was really lucky and privileged to have Bob Davies shape my boards for years, and Alan Byrne, Bob's proteges and apprentices, the likes of Wayne Lowen. They all made me really good boards, and then Graham Allen from Super Session, he made me a few boards around the late 70s when I was in Auckland, and then he's come back in the last 10 years and made me some wonderful boards as well.
So you're still using his?
Yes, I am definitely using Graham's boards. Yeah.
What do you think made you start surfing? Because some of your brothers into surfing then, or the beaches right here?
Oh, I think it was all here and happening. My brothers were surfing. Everything revolved around. It was just a brand new sport, and it was pretty exciting. And plus, we ended up having a little food caravan at the beach, so
that was fantastic.
I had to work in the shop all the time, so I was just around it all. And I couldn't surf a lot. Obviously, when I was little, there's no wetsuits or surfboards, or too cold in the winter. I had to go to school. Had to milk the cows, feed the cows.
A busy life.
But I was just all around it, and I just loved it. And when I was working in the shop, I could always watch everything that was going on.
So how did you get into competition surfing? Did you just go to a New Zealand Champs, or did you have a Northland Champs, or what happened in those days?
I didn't compete at all, or probably even see another serious female surfer until I finished high school and moved to Auckland to work when I was 18. And that year, Rella's son came through New Zealand, and she had a bit of a unscheduled stopover, and she got onto the media trying to drum up a little bit of publicity for herself, or somewhere to stay even, I think. And at the time, my brother Malcolm and John Stone were starting the surf magazine Aqualine, and Malcolm was at the Herald, so they got involved, and I got to know Rella a little bit. And then the Cranch sisters and someone else in Auckland sort of got together, and Rella really, spurred them on to say, let's do a women's surfing,
so that's how
thing.
And before that, there was probably no real. Well, there was a bit of women surfing, but nothing major, was there?
No, just a few people. Other guys' sisters surfed, the likes of Jeannie Shanks, through her brothers, and a few people like that, and the Crouch girls, and other people through Surf Life Saving, or living at the beach and stuff. So that's when I first started competing.
So you had, what was your first New Zealand Champs? Can you tell me a little bit? That you must remember it.
I went to the first one, and before I went, the guys from up here at Sandy Bay, the likes, I can't think, Nicky Maddich, probably Roger Crisp, a bit of a crew, Clive Smart, that kind of crew, they were going, you surf really good, you can win, you should go. So I decided to go, and it was in Dunedin. Malcolm, my bro, was going down to do the, get some stuff for the magazine they were doing, and so I went down with him. And I don't think there was many girls there, maybe 2 heats. I got to the final, and I didn't win, but I'm not sure where I finished.
Yeah.
Maybe second or third, I think.
So you did very well on your first sort of try, yeah.
But I was a little bit miffed because I kind of knew I could do better.
Yeah.
But I just didn't know what to do in the contest. So I think after that I came back and went, right, I need to learn how to compete. And I did a bit of travelling. Then we had nationals at Taranaki, and again I fell short in the final to Jeannie.
Yeah.
In fact, I hadn't really competed. No, it was after Taranaki that we decided to have the nationals here at Sandy Bay.
Oh, yeah, yep.
So North Coast Board Riders really got cracking with Oro and Maled and Roger Crisp, etc. And so I went, right, I just got to learn how to surf heats. And so I surfed all year against the boys, the open men.
Yep.
So I could sort of
made you tough.
Get my act together.
Yeah. So did you do all right in the Northern one?
Yeah, that's my first national open title.
So how many national titles have you had?
National Open Woman 6.
6, that's fantastic, yeah. And have you competed longboarding nationally a little bit or not really?
Yes, I think I've only done the actual nationals twice.
Yeah.
It's only quite new in the nationals, longboarding for women.
Yeah.
And I haven't won it. Winnie, dear sweet little P, beat me twice.
Yeah.
She won it once, and the other year someone else won it, and she came second, and I came third.
Yeah. Now, did both your daughters, you got 2 lovely daughters, and they surfed a bit, I know, but Winnie's really taking off in her surfing, isn't she? There, and she won quite a big one here at Sandy Bay.
Yeah, on the longboard. Yeah, she's competed. She's won the New Zealand Open Women's. She's won the Scholastics, won a lot of things, won the Billabong Grom Series. Been pretty successful actually within New Zealand, and done quite well overseas as well.
Yeah.
Never quite got to the the elite championship tour, but
not far away.
Yeah, she can cut it with those girls. It's just it's a fairly huge commitment to do it, and financially and the support systems needed. It's pretty mammoth.
A lot of travelling and yeah, it must be pretty horrible. So you've surfed quite a few places around the world.
Yes.
You went to a World Championship, Amateur Champs was it, or what did they call it?
Yeah, I went to quite a few of those actually.
Yeah. Can you tell us about a couple? Yeah.
First one I went to was in Australia
in
1982, and I came 5th, which was not such a bad effort.
Yeah.
The day before the finals, I was through to the semi-finals. I got speared in the back quite badly, so I had a big wound right against my spine, and those days we didn't know about rehabbing and stuff, and the Irish just fed me up on Tullamore Dew whiskey the night before, so then I went out dancing all night, and the next day, finals day, I could barely move. Yeah. So it's not surprising I didn't get to the final.
So when you say you got stabbed in the back, what, a surfboard got you in the back?
Yeah, I got speared in the back by a guy, at Burley.
I must tell a little story here that I told Pauline I was out surfing with her one day at Sandy Bay a few years ago, and Pauline paddled out, and there's a couple of young fellas just sitting in the line-up, and I see them look at Pauline, sort of look up and down, and didn't say much. Pauline took off on a fantastic wave and did lots of turns in a big floater, and these guys looked at each other and said, man, she can surf. And I think they had a lot of respect for you. I guess that's happened a lot. But where else overseas have you've done better than 5th in the world? I know that in amateurs.
No, 5th is my best
Was
at
it
the
really?
world titles.
Yeah.
You always finished pretty much in the top 10, except for in Japan when I got an inner ear infection and lost all my balance, so that made it a little bit difficult. I could barely walk down the steps to the beach, and I was trying to paddle out and surf. So, but I won something else. I think Queensland Masters a few years ago, over 35s or something, and I won a World Masters over 40s when they had it in Taranaki.
That's brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Yeah, I know you coached both my children, and you've done it to heaps of young surfies, and no one says thanks or anything, so thank you very much for doing that for years and years. A special person that does that sort of work, because you don't get paid, I know you had training camps here and all that sort of thing, and it must have taken a lot of time and effort. So I take my hat off to people like yourself. Without you, the surfing wouldn't be what it is today in a lot of cases. I think you've done a fantastic job, and just marvellous, I think, yeah.
Yeah, no, it's always good fun.
Yeah.
And it's great to see the kids, you know, do well or just go away and go somewhere else out of their own little home turf. And
we talked about Clinton Flower earlier as one of the ones that Pauline trained, and he went away and he won New Zealand under 18, and probably, you know, that you pushing him along, that's why he got there, which was fantastic effort. So yeah.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's always been really enjoyable to help the kids through, and I've just been home digging through a few photos and
so
to see the little grommets.
Yeah.
They're all grey now with no hair left.
They
I showed a couple of photos today, and they're just like, wow.
And they were all little wee fellas, and now they're a lot bigger than us, and they say hello, and you don't, it's hard to recognise them sometimes because they've grown so much, isn't it?
Yes, it is indeed. Yeah. Well, it's the lack of hair, I think, is one of the main factors.
Now, how many brothers have you got?
I've got 4 brothers.
Now, how many of them surf?
Well,
They're
all quite capable. They can all surf.
Yeah.
But only 2 of them have really surfed right through their life as such.
Yeah. Is it Malcolm?
Probably Malcolm and Johnny.
Yeah.
Probably Rob would have surfed a lot more if he had have been around surf, but he went to the USA when he was only 18 and lived all of his time not near surf, so you know, that sort of put him. He did a lot of sailing though. He's done an awful lot of sailing. What's
the most stupidest thing you've seen out surfing or going surfing? You must have seen something that's horrible or weird or something like that. Anything stands out, that something funny or stupid?
I mean, how long was your tape on? I could probably wind off that whole tape telling you about some of the things I've seen.
Can you think of anything offhand? That what?
Stupidest thing? Oh.
Heaps of wipes out,
Yeah, wipeouts, well, you know, they're just par for the course, I guess.
I can remember when you were training 2 kids out here one day at Sandy Bay, and I know you were videoing them, and they were both, I think, well, one was my son and the other was Albie Hagen. They were both surfing along to each other, and you thought, well, here we go, and of course no one wanted to back down. They ended up both wrecking both boards, and that one thing, we were watching on the beach, and here they go, but no one backed down. But just stupid things like that you get a laugh out of,
yeah, actually, probably one of the most funny things I've seen, and it wasn't even surfing, but we were on a little beach in the Caribbean in St. Martin when Tia was just 2. We were waiting for the day, and it was at a fairly good resort. Big resort, lots of Americans and a lot of people from the Midwest, and this groundswell had come in, whereas normally quite a calm beach, it was quite a steep beach, and we just sat there all day and watched these people come down and just not even notice that there was actually this fairly severe meter sort of shore break, and they would just walk out there and just totally get slammed, just stand there and just go, and it would just smack them down into the beach, and I'd get up, what was that, you know?
No idea about surf or surf.
That was probably one of the most bizarre things I've seen.
Have you had one of those days? You must have had a day when the waves have been fantastic and just everything's gone right for you. Have you got one of those that stand out? A day when the waves were perfect and everything was working your way. You must have one of those days.
Oh yeah, I've had a few actually. I'd have to say that most of them really in magic days I had been in the islands.
Yeah.
Tahiti and Fiji, just tropical waves, beautiful.
Yeah. So you didn't surf Shafu or in Tahiti or?
No, when I was in Tahiti, no one was surfing there. It was unsurfed, and there was maybe only 50 surfers in Tahiti anyway.
Yeah.
But there was a couple of guys that had gone. They kind of knew there was this wave there, and we used to talk about it.
Yeah.
And they used to go, "You can drive a truck through it."
Yeah.
And we went around a couple of times, hitchhiked around there with these guys and had a bit of a look at it.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's years before jet skis, and they didn't even have boats to get out.
Yeah.
You know,
You just
So
look at it
they
now
just
and it's
sort of
just
looked at
mess.
it.
It's still a scary place,
Oh,
isn't it?
absolutely,
You've
yeah.
got to know what you're doing in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So little old Sandy Bay, it does get a nice little wave. I surf here all the time. A lot of people, not the best wave in the world, but man, it can be fun.
Oh yeah, I've had some pretty magic days right here at Sandy Bay too. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yep.
great fun. Yeah. Surf accidents? Any bad accidents that you've had out surfing that stand out? Well, you've been one of the lucky ones.
Just the old the knee ligaments, the medial knee ligaments.
Yeah.
Gone. Probably the worst gash I had was at the 1982 Worlds, and I got speared in the back.
Yeah.
It was pretty radical. And
did you have to get stitches or anything?
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What? How many stitches are we talking about?
How can I remember? I drank all that whiskey.
Quite a few.
I couldn't see. It was around there, somewhere. But I think the worst was when I tore my medial knee ligaments at my first. Well, it wasn't my first, but it was maybe my fourth major contest on the ASP tour, and I was doing really well.
Yeah.
And I got squashed. I did a Rio, came down, squashed my knee, and that was probably the most tragic one.
And did that put you out of surfing for a while? Or?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I went on the tour thinking, well, I'll give it a go for a while and see how I go. You know, and at least I've done it, and it's out of my system.
Yeah.
And I was actually doing quite well, and I ended up coming ninth at what is now the US Open at Huntington.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, but yeah, I did my knee quite badly, and we didn't know how to rehab. We didn't do any of the rice or anything. I just got out of the water. I could hardly walk and didn't know what to do. Got in a spa pool, you know, the worst thing I could have done. And so yeah, definitely sort of. And then after that, I surfed 2 or 3 more events, but my knee was just a mess. It needed to be strapped, and then I strapped straight, and I couldn't get to my feet. So
for people that maybe watch this, they probably don't realise, like the 80s and that, there was no, like you'd see good surfers out in the water and you'd put them in a competition and they'd just be terrible. There was no training for competitions, and now it's just huge difference. So it's hard to explain, but you get a good surfer and you put him in a contest and he just gets lost, doesn't he? It's, you've probably seen that hundreds of times.
Oh yeah, so I mean back then, I mean we were professionals as such, but we weren't really, and you know it was just a really new, very new sport, and they're still finding their way, you know, with competition and the likes of training and stuff like that, and you know it's evolved amazingly.
I can remember you running a judging course in Whangarei a few years ago. No one else had done anything like that, and my whole family went, and I know a lot of other people, and it was really brilliant because it gave you another insight into competition, what they're looking for in that, and nowadays I think it's hundreds of dollars to do a course for being a judge, and that's why people don't do it, because it's several $100.
Yeah, I really don't know how much it is. I think from memory when you did it was $10, $20.
Yeah, it was brilliant.
I didn't get paid to do it though.
No, but it was brilliant when we had
competitions
competitions here.
But it was great, and it's a pity that they can't just roll it around a bit more, roll it out. Yeah, because it certainly helps people.
So I know your brothers have got kids and they're all into surfing, so if the Pullmans all go surfing at Sandy Bay one day, there's probably no one else would get away, would there? There'd be quite a team of you out there if you all got together.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. And we're down to the next generation now. We've got little Paige here, my grandniece.
Yeah.
Paige Pullman, watch out for her. She's going to be
up and coming.
She's going to be out there tearing it to bits. Hey, Paigey.
Oh, Pauline, that's just fantastic. Thank you.
No
we'll
worries.
call it a day. I think that's heaps. Yeah. Wonderful. Thank you very much.